you got the video going already?
Yep.
Wait. All right, so I actually wanted to kind of start out by trying to find out where you guys are at as far as Google Analytics goes, so that I can skip over stuff that's totally boring and useless and actually hit on things that are important for all of you guys. So who has actually used Google Analytics? All right, cool. And of those of you that have used it, how many of you have actually had to install it and set it up and all those other things, or are you just a user of it? I guess that wasn't a work question, that was a bad question.
Yeah.
Have you had to actually install it yourself?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so then I'm going to glaze over the installation part of it a little bit. I'll go through it quickly just so that folks that haven't done that can kind of see how that's done. And then we'll go, what I'm going to do is kind of walk you guys through the setup and installation. What are some of the benefits of using Google Analytics for your website? How to read the dashboard report and a couple of the other kind of big reports that you end up using quite a bit. How to set up goals on the website and how to use all of the goals reporting throughout Google Analytics. How to set up site search if your site has search capabilities, how to get those searches that customers are performing into the Google Analytics data. And then a little bit on traffic sources and funnel visualization if we've got enough time. We'll see how long this takes, I don't know. So I want this to be, this is not intended to be a presentation, so I want it to be sort of interactive and that kind of thing. So if you guys have questions throughout, feel free to ask them. And I tried to sort of prioritize the order we go through things in so that if we run out of time, then we at least got through some valuable items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by going into Google Analytics. So this is the normal just dashboard page that's in Google Analytics. And being a BI person, I think a lot of people start out by looking at how many visits they get to their website, and they're like, oh, good, and you like, oh, look, I bumped up my visits, I'm doing good. And really, that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Understanding how many people are coming to your website doesn't really tell you a whole heck of a lot, but actually getting to the point where you can measure how much money you're making as a result of those people coming to your website, or what areas of your website are difficult for those customers to use, being able to actually enable change and make your website better as a result of the data is really where you want to try and get with this. So you can see that at the beginning, when you first come in here, you get that standard sort of overview of who's visiting your website or how many people are visiting your website on each day. You get some general data about how many actual people are visiting versus how many times they came to your site. I'll dive deeper into this later. I'm just kind of quickly going through this part. How many pages have actually been viewed on your website, average, how many pages each person is looking at on your website, how much time they're spending. Bounce rate is really an important metric. This is how many people came to your website, looked at a single page, and left. So obviously you didn't engage them, or your page, it could be, depending on how your business is set up, that's exactly what you want, right? So it just depends on your website. But most websites, you want to pull people in and engage them, and having them hit multiple pages is a good thing. So you want to watch that bounce rate. And then
Aaron, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
It's if you view, sometimes I'll go to a site by accident and I'll be there literally a second or less.
Yep.
Does that actually count? Does that all get tracked? It's not, it doesn't discard those results, right?
yeah, that would get counted. You'd have a really low time on site. You'd affect their bounce rate, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh well.
and so in that example, that tells the site owner. So there was some reason you found that website, right? You
mistyped
Googled it or
who
something
knows
else,
what, yeah.
or you found the link through somebody else's website. Whatever that was, it was wrong for you, right?
Right, yeah.
And so
what I thought it was going to be wasn't what it was. Right?
exactly. So the value to that site owner in seeing that happened is that he can actually look and see where you came from and try and figure out why there was a disconnect between what you thought you were going to get and what you got.
the opposite can be true. People leave tabs open in the browser for a half hour.
Yeah, like, yeah, I'm a known tab abuser, in fact, so it gives skewed results, but very well.
Yep. So the setup for Google Analytics is actually pretty straightforward. So when you go into Google Analytics and you set up a new website, it actually will generate a snippet of code for you. Let's see if I can, yeah. It'll actually generate a snippet of code for you. You can see down here when you create a new account. And so literally to set up Google Analytics tracking for my website, I copy and paste that code into the bottom of the page. So, you know, if you're using any sort of templating system, you stick it into the template so it appears in every single page. If for some reason there's some pages you don't want to track, you can just leave it out of those pages and you won't get tracking. There's definitely some advanced things that you can do with this code, but I'm not going to go into that in this talk. Really the basis is grab this code, stick it in your website, and now you've got reporting. Really actually very detailed and robust reporting. Any questions on that before I move past? All right, cool. So, let's see, we did setup. Let's go a little bit deeper on the dashboard. So, again, back to, whoops, one second, went to the wrong place. So I'm looking at my audience overview report. And you can see that I've got some additional demographics about the people that are visiting my website, which countries they're coming from, which operating systems and computers they're using, whether they're coming in from a mobile browser. I've got a lot of really good detail here. What I want to show you guys is that, you know, when you get to the point where you've got goals set up inside of Google Analytics, right? So now I'm looking at a US or at a world map that shows where my visitors are coming from. You see most of mine are coming from the US. I've got a few from Canada. What happens when I go up here to my goal set, so I've defined some specific goals on my website that are important for me. So you can see goal number 1, viewed the pricing page. So if they came to my website and fiddled around, did a bunch of stuff, and then eventually viewed my pricing page, that's good for me. I want to track how many people are hitting that page so that I can help make that better, right? If 90% of the people never come to the pricing page, then I'm doing something wrong. And so I need to adjust that. So you can see that number 1 goal, 1% of my users are making that goal of looking at my pricing page. Number 2 is that they actually, goal number 2 listed on here is that they actually paid for the service. And you can see it's 0.04% of the users. And then the number of people, it looks like these 2 goals are actually broken. How many people viewed the registration page and viewed the basic registration page. So actually I should show. So that's basically, you know, for this website, you've got a landing page that kind of promotes what the product is. And then that pricing page that I was just talking about, so now that goal for viewed pricing would have been hit by me coming to this web page. And if I had hit the sign up now, that's the basic sign up goal. And then if you completed this process, then you would have paid for the product, and there'd be another goal hidden there. And I think this account is like $10 a month, so it would actually track $10 a month or $10 in revenue at that point in time.
And are you having these as all separate goals, or one goal is just the whole funnel?
They're all separate goals, and I'll show you the funnel a little bit later on.
Can you go into why you did that? That'd be interesting.
What's that?
Can you explain why you did that as separate instead of one funnel? That'd be interesting too.
Well, so the way that Google Analytics has funnel reporting set up and goal reporting set up, they're separate, although the goals actually feed into the funnel. So I'll just show you really quick so it makes sense. It's easier to see a picture. If I can find the stupid thing. Yeah. They moved everything around recently. There we go, funnels. So you actually, so the funnels, can't find the right one.
It's under conversions. They moved it all. It's substituted it in.
Anyway, if I could find the stupid thing, I'll show it to you, but the goals actually end up being steps in the funnel. So they're related, and when you go, every single report, well, not every single, but most of the reports that are in here, you can see goal set 1 up here at the top where I can hit that. So pretty much every report allows you to filter by goal set. So by setting up the goals, you enable the visibility on all of those different reports to slice by those goal steps, versus going to a separate funnel report that shows you how many people are hitting each one of those steps, right? So it's giving you additional dimensions to kind of be able to slice the data by. So let's see here. So let me walk you guys through how to set up a goal. So when you come in here, there's a little options gear up in the upper right-hand corner. You can see under profiles, I've got assets, goals, users, filters, and profile settings. So I'm going to go into my goals. So here are those exact same goals that I showed you a second ago. Google Analytics allows you to set up 4 different sets of 5 goals. This is really just a way for you to organize. They don't have any other meaning other than to organize them into sets. And you saw in those reports where it says goal set 1. If I had goal set 2 set up, I'd be able to flip onto that, and you can kind of toggle between them. So it just makes the reports a little bit cleaner and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a new goal. So actually I've got some new things on here that I haven't set up goals for, so I'm going to do that. So part of the reasons that some of my metrics are really sucking on that last screen is that I've stopped sort of promoting the scheduling part of this, and I've started promoting this book. So
yeah, you can't get past the homepage.
Huh? Yeah. What happened? Google Analytics just took over my...
Oh, that's something that just started the other day. I noticed. It's pretty cool, actually.
Wow.
It's cool, except when you don't expect it.
There is a way to turn it off. There's something.
Yeah, I'm
Just
sure.
Scroll down a bit.
Yeah, there we go.
Top one a bit.
Cute. It's kind of
Wow.
cool. All right, something new. Apparently, if you have Google Analytics loaded in Chrome at the same time while you visit the web page, it'll pop itself over.
Wow.
So on this landing page, let's say that I want to set it up so that whenever you hit this go button, and it takes you over to the second screen that I want it to track that. So I'm going to say, book sign up. Say it's an active goal. You can either set up a URL destination goal. So literally, this is just simply copying and pasting the URL. We'll go. Actually, I just realized that's a bad example. It's not going to work. So let's say that it was I want to track a goal for whether the customer came and hit my frequently asked questions page. Probably not something I would really care about, but do it anyway. So literally, all I'm doing is copying from the URL the page that I'm on. You don't have to copy the entire domain. And you paste that into the goal URL. And if you wanted to, you could give it a dollar value if it had one. In this case, that I could actually say that's worth $1 to me because that's a support call that I didn't have to take because they went to my frequently asked questions, or whatever that's worth to your business. So I can go in here and set it up as $1, and then you can tell it whether this goal is part of the funnel or not. So this goes back to the question David was asking before. When you set the goals, they're actually aligned directly to the funnels. So I'm not going to set this in the funnel, and yippee, I've got a new goal in there. So now if I go back to any of the reports, let's see, apparently it doesn't take effect right away. Make sure. Yeah, it's not letting me.
Yeah, the goals are never retroactive. It's not for the next.
What's that?
The goals are never retroactive. It's not for the next.
Yeah, it takes a little while for it to process the data. Forget about that. So, so anyway, so now I've got a new goal in there that's tracking that. After Google does its processing, I'll get some retroactive data about how many people have actually hit that goal. And then just like the rest of these, I can slice and dice any of the reports by which goals the customers have hit. Does anybody have any questions about the goals? No, that's really it. It's pretty straightforward to set them up. I guess actually I could show you some of the
So
other
you can set it
types.
up to, if they fill out a form, by just putting in the one, like the page it takes them to when they're done filling out the form.
Correct.
So-
Yeah, exactly. It's literally, like the easiest way to do it is just to walk through the process yourself, and then wherever you end up, that's the spot you want to track, copy that URL, and you're done. All right. So the next thing that you'll want to, that they'll probably be pretty valuable, especially once you've got your goals set up, is to get into the traffic sources reports. So I'm going to go in here into traffic sources. So these traffic source reports basically show you where customers are coming from when they come to your website. So in this case, for this website, you can see that about half of my traffic is coming from search engines, about 35% is coming from other websites that have links back to me. 15% are coming from people that actually just typed it into the address bar, or maybe it was from an email or something like that. And then last is campaigns, and I'll show you how to actually set up campaigns. But this could be a search engine marketing campaign, it could be an email campaign. You can completely designate all of your own campaigns through the whole thing. But this really gives me a breakdown of where my visitors are coming from. So you can see in this case that here are some of the search terms that people are actually typing into Google or other search engines before they get to my website. So this really helps you on the SEO side of things to figure out how people are finding you. If specific words are driving a lot of traffic to your website, then maybe you should be focused on two things: making sure that you've got the content to cover, that when they do come to you because of that search term, that you've got content that is relevant to what that search was. And then on the flip side, being able to optimize further for that search term. Dive a little deeper into this. So the all traffic report, my goal set's there now, look. So the all traffic report is going to break this down by website. So you can see that all of the traffic that I've got coming in from Google, this is all search traffic. You can see how much time those people are spending on the site compared to what the other visitors are spending on the site, as well as how many of those people were new. So you might have websites that are driving in a lot of repeat visitors. This is your way to be able to tell that. And then again, back to that same bounce rate as before, how many of those people are coming in and just jumping right out. So you can see that based on this, my website, I want to have a low bounce rate. And so if I search through this, you can see that some of these, obviously some of these are low hits, so it's probably not, go the other way around. So you can see that these two people that I pulled in from the 60-second marketer website, they came in, they surfed around 13 different pages, they spent 12 minutes on the website, and one of them was a returning person, and they didn't bounce, they all navigated around, right? So in this case for my business, these people are really valuable. They spend a lot of time on the website, so I need to find out why they came across and how I can do more of that on that website or on other websites that are like it. Let me show one more example. So, but you can see like these answers.com referrals from Yahoo. I'm getting a lot of visits, but they're really not looking around on the site much. They're not doing much once they're there. A lot of them are new people, but most of them just come in and then leave. So in that case, I probably want to reduce the amount of time that I'm spending answering Yahoo Answers unless there's some other benefit to it, right? So in that case, I know that I keep doing it because I'm actually getting links back in, and so it helps on the search engine side of things, so it's worth it. But you have to basically analyze that for your business and figure out whether that's valuable or not. again, back to being able to track my goals. So I can actually see, now that I switched to the goals view, I can actually see which of these has monetary value to my business. So those same goal tracking dollar amounts and those kinds of things. Right now, with really low sales, the most valuable stuff is coming in direct. People that are either getting emails or that I met in person that went and signed up for the service, whatever the case may be. Those ones are actually most valuable at this point in time. Probably a bad example because it's not millions of dollars, but hopefully you get the idea. Let's see. All right, we went through search a little bit.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
When you're looking at how the traffic comes to your site, is there some sort of golden standard of how many referrals you get, how many direct traffic you get, how much search traffic you get?
Not really. It's going to be different by business. The one thing you do have is, if I can find it, there's a benchmarking report. There used to be a benchmarking report. Let's see. I'll see if I can find it for you. There's a benchmarking report that's in here where if you opt into their service, Google oh, you know what? I'll just go back to the old view really quick just so I can show you. So here, remember where trying to remember where I was hitting at. David, here's the funnel thing that I couldn't find a minute ago. Anyway, can't find I think maybe they took the benchmarking out. They used to have a benchmarking report where it would Google would automatically collect, it's collecting this data for lots of other websites, and so you basically would give it a demographic that your website is in, and then it would show you some benchmark data against other websites that are similar to yours. So at least you can kind of get an idea of whether you're in the right ballpark or not. But it varies a lot, and it looks like they've discontinued it completely. So I don't know. I'll dig a little bit. I'll see if I can find it for you. All right. So let's see. I want to dig into the traffic sources just a little bit. So I mentioned before that you can track your different marketing campaigns, and these don't have to be a Google SEM buy or a Facebook ad or those kinds of things. This could be as simple as wanting to put a link on somebody else's website and wanting to track how many people came specifically from that one and tie that together with an email that had the same topic. So I guess what I'm saying by that is that you can create your own campaigns completely, and they can really be made up of any sorts of media that you might utilize. So you can see in here that I created one campaign. It drove 3 visits, 2 pages per visit, etc. When I click in on that campaign, you'll actually see that it now drills into the sources and mediums section, and I can tell that this coupon code that I gave out to people was given on this startups.com website, and that's it. That's as deep as I went with that. So let me show you.
Is there any way to go in and change the number manually, to reflect someone who called you or something? Like if someone looks at your site and then calls you and makes a purchase or something?
No, you couldn't do that. You could, remember what I mentioned, that you can sort of tweak the code that you put into your web page, you could actually sort of hack that apart and create yourself a little page that you could hit whenever you got a phone call, and like that page would give you a call. So you could kind of work around it manually, but Google doesn't have a way to just manually put data in.
It's coming. People
What's that?
pay with the Google Wallet, you'll have that. You'll know the point of sale transaction and title it back to your search string.
Yeah.
It's soon.
So the, let's see, Google URL Builder. So Google has this URL builder that's intended for building your own marketing campaigns. So let's say that I wanna drive customers directly to my pricing page. So I'm going to paste that URL into the URL box here. The source, let's say that I'm going to send out an email blast out to a whole bunch of different people, and I'm going to try and drive them to this part of the website. So I want to track my campaign sources, Mailchimp. Literally, what you're typing in the boxes here is what's going to show up in the reports. Literally, case sensitive, everything. So you can make up any values you want for any of these boxes to be able to track your marketing campaigns. So in this case, it's an email campaign. I don't have any search words that I want to track for it. Campaign content. Let's say that I'm going to do an A/B test with my email. I'm going to send out one batch to one set of customers and a different email to another batch of customers. So this is my email 1. And my campaign name is whatever, 99 discount, right? So what happens when I put all this information in is Google's actually going to generate a URL for me that you can see that all it's doing is simply taking the values that I typed in the boxes and putting them into this URL. And what happens is when I send this URL out via email to my customers, when they click on that, it actually tells Google to track that campaign in that way. And so literally, by giving this special link out, now I'm going to get campaign data back in that portion of Google Analytics, just like this. So I can actually, let me show, that's not going to show up right away. I don't know if I have a campaign that's valuable. The one thing that you can't see with this example, which I should have probably set up a different example, so in this, let's just say it's the same one. Let's say that this new email that I'm going to send out right now is part of that same campaign from before. So I'm running a banner ad on startups.com, and I'm also going to email a bunch of people with the same offer. And so by putting that same campaign name into this box as the one that I used for startups.com, what happens is you see this overall campaign here that I can drill into, and if I was to click on this and I had some of the items from my email campaign, you would see those both listed here. You see startups.com deal and the email campaign. So you can actually roll those all up to the same campaign and see which channel is driving the most sales for your website. Any questions at this point? Cool. Are there any other, so I've been talking specifically about like e-commerce websites and where you're trying to do sales on the page. Do any of you have any examples of things that where you're not quite sure how this might fit with what you're trying to do?
Oh, no, I can, first of all, I already run Mailchimp campaigns, so I can see that. But we're looking to do events maybe, and we have bus shelters, and we want to see how many people are scanning our QR code. Then I could just enter that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so based on that, you could track the QR code scans too, just like anything else. Awesome. Okay, site search was the last topic that I wanted to hit. And we can drill into any other areas that you guys want. So, site search is your ability to see, I don't know if I've got any data in here to show you guys, because I actually just enabled it last week. Nope. So what site search does is, if you've got a page, so here's the blog for that same website. So I've got this search box over here on the right, so people can search through all of my different blog posts. So if I want to be able to track in Google Analytics how many of those searches people are doing on there, so the value to you in being able to do that is that the searches that people are performing lets you know what kind of content they're looking for. So if you see that people are searching for specific types of content on your website and you don't have any content for it, then you can use this data to actually go and create content to support that. In the case of an e-commerce website where maybe you've got products that you're selling on there, you see that people are searching for a specific type of product and you don't have that product, then maybe you want to consider offering it. So it kind of goes both ways with products and blog content and those kinds of things. So in order to be able to track your searches, what you have to do is, again, go back to this options box on the top right. And under, I think it's your profile settings, you'll see this site search settings section down at the bottom. And so all you need to do is say, I do want to track site search. And when you go over to whatever the area is where you're performing the searches, notice that I typed the word games in here in the search and I pressed enter to get the results. But what happens is, up on the URL, the query string was automatically built, and you can see S equals games up here. So that tells me that the parameter S, which is search in this case, is what's going to hold that value. And so literally all you have to do is say do track site search, and then type the letter or the set of letters that popped up in your search string at the top into this box, and tell it to strip all the other query parameters out so you don't end up with a bunch of if there's other parameters that are in there, you don't want those to end up in your Google Analytics reports for search, so you tell it to just strip them all out. And then I say apply, and literally it's as easy as that. And now I can see the types of searches that customers are performing on my website.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
It's hard to see, but is there a question mark in front of the S on your URL?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it's here.
And for the Google Analytics site search, sorry, I was trying to find it. Under query parameter, nothing.
In the query parameter box, you want to put whatever that letter was that showed up in the URL at the top. So just the letter is. What did yours show up as? Or it may not be a letter; it might be a set of letters.
Yeah, ours is like search.aspx question mark search term equals.
Cool. So in your
Search
case,
term.
it would be search term.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just grab the word search term, stick it into query parameter, tell it to strip all the other garbage out, and you're done. This one doesn't seem to go back through the data retroactively.
Ooh.
So the point where you turn on that reporting capability in Google Analytics, you'll get data from that point forward, but I don't think it'll give you historical.
Yeah.
And that search box, is that a Google search box, or is that just a blog plugin? Or
That was just WordPress. It literally works with as long as the search term gets put into a query string in the page, it'll work.
you can tap on.
Yep.
So, Aaron, you said WordPress, but can you talk a little bit about, with different content management systems, WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, are there any particular best practices or gotchas with respect to different content management systems?
Specifically for the site search?
Just overall with Google Analytics, like best
Yeah,
practices.
so I'm not familiar with Joomla. Most of the stuff I've done has been with WordPress, but I know that I suspect Joomla's probably got similarly that you can actually. Let me actually show you. So I've got a plugin for WordPress that I absolutely love for Google Analytics. And I'm sure Joomla and some of the other
Yeah,
content
Drupal
management
has it
systems
too.
probably have some similar things. Go to the right place. It's called Ultimate GA, Google Analytics. So remember I was talking before about taking that snippet of JavaScript code from Google and putting it into your web page. With this plugin, you don't even have to do that. You literally just get your account ID and put it in here, and you're finished. Some of the reasons that I like this one is that it allows you to ignore when admins are logged into the WordPress site. So I won't see data about my visits to the website, so it doesn't get inflated by my use. And then it's also got the ability to track external links. So it'll change the links around on your website when they're pointed somewhere else, and let you see in Google Analytics, it'll actually show up as an outbound link. So you can actually see when you're sending traffic away from your website in Google Analytics as well. And then the same thing on downloads, that anytime there's an object to download, it'll insert itself in between so you can see how many people are downloading those items from your website.
That's good. Cool. And do you combine that like with some other SEO plugins or any other tools to get, to maximize it, I guess?
Trying to think of other things where it's valuable. There's a couple areas where you can actually track other events that are going on.
Oh, I see you have all-in-one SEO right there, yeah. Okay.
Oh, you meant specifically for SEO?
Yeah, just, getting them to work together. So, you optimize the page for certain kind of results, but then you watch what happens. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so with the all-in-one SEO plugin is pretty simple, actually. It literally just gives you a spot in your blog post to be able to make sure that you've got the right title and description and meta keywords. There's a couple other ones I've seen that are pretty powerful where it'll actually ask you what the search term is that you're targeting with this blog post, and it'll go and do some other analysis for you and let you know whether that's something you should be targeting or you should pick a different term and that kind of stuff. I haven't been using it on here, but in fact, I think we've got it on the Gangplank website. I can show that really quick.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, so you can, this WordPress SEO.
Yeah, that's the one Chuck likes.
Yeah, so this one, you can say what search term are you targeting with this blog post, and then it'll analyze the post and all of the pieces of content around it to let you know whether your page title in this case doesn't actually match the search term you're going after. So because they're not aligned, you're probably going to get weaker results on that. But then you can see down here, it's the same kind of stuff that was in the other one, the title and the description and the keywords and those kinds of things. So this one will give you a little bit more detail on the analysis. And then you can actually set up some advanced things like redirecting the page to other places safely and other pieces that are important for SEO. Any other questions? Okay, I guess that's it then.
Yeah.
Alright, so now that I'm done, should I have done a presentation? Or should I have tried to keep it interactive like this? I was experimenting, but...
Interactive's alright. I like to be able to
That's
ask
how you get business.
questions
You think
specifically about my problem.
you get more business.
It might actually still do.
That was all referrals from my existing clients.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, you still get hired with this?
It's always hard to tell
You know
when you're
what?
in the middle of it.
Initially, I did.
Yeah,
What I did was I had this
You wanted to say
rotating
something?
Yeah, a couple of quick announcements.
rotating network.
Hey, Brendan's got announcements.
Next week we have Angela Moore back in. She came in and gave the presentation on mobile marketing. She's going to be doing a presentation
Oh, good.
on using video.
Okay.
Next, David Leary is in. He's going to talk about in my paycheck and his journey to his first 750,000 customers. Then I think it's Aaron Douglas, that'll be March the 2nd. He's going to come in and he's going to do a presentation on whether you should be a trainer. The following week, the presentation from last last week by Tracy Miller that got cancelled when she was sick. She's going to come back in and do that. And then the 16th is John Thomas is going to do a presentation on mind mapping using FreeMind and MindNode.
Oh, you can do all that from memory? Oh,
Mini tent.
Kidding.
If anybody has any presentations they'd like to do, I'm always looking for more material, so either put suggestions in the user voice or just contact me directly and we'll get something set up.
So, what are you in it? Did you just go down?
We didn't watch the war.
Old people, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I had rotated between all the different cities I worked in. So initially I was the biggest.